afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our panel discussion in the future of work. My name is Angeliki Dedopoulou, and I work as Public Policy Manager on AI and Fintech in Brussels at Meta EU Affairs Office, and I will be the moderator for this session. The world of work is changing rapidly, driven by technological advancements, demographic shifts, and evolving business models. As we look to the future, it's important to consider how these changes will impact actually the way of work, the skills we need, and the role of governments and policymakers in supporting this transition. We have three distinguished speakers with us today who will share their insights and perspectives on the future of work. I'm happy to introduce you to Mr. Sotiris Karagiannis, Chief Innovation Officer at Space Hellas, Mr. Aleksandar Preradovic, Managing Director and Chairman, Dell Technologies, Greece, Cyprus, and Malta, and Mr. Stavros Yiannouka, CEO of the World Innovation Summit for Education. Welcome, everyone.
Thank you.
Each speaker brings a unique perspective to the table, and we're looking forward to a lively and engaging discussion. And of course, we would like also to hear from you, your questions. We want to make this debate as interactive as possible, so feel free to ask any questions you may have at the end of the session. So without further ado, let's start the discussion. Stavros, I would like to start with you. Could you please kick us off by sharing your thoughts on the future of work? And more specifically, how do you see the future of work evolving in the next 5 years? And what role will AI play in shaping it? I mean, given that also the topic of this and the theme of this conference is about generative AI.
I think that's an almost impossible question to answer, because any prediction that we make today about the future is more likely than not to be wrong. But Alex assured me before we started the panel that none of you guys are going to remember what we say. So I'm going to give it a shot. So my perspective is that GenAI will produce a significant boost in productivity around the world. I don't necessarily see GenAI replacing human beings directly. It may happen in some tasks, but more likely than not, we're going to see GenAI augmenting and significantly enhancing the productivity of existing workers, which will potentially translate into sort of fewer numbers of people doing jobs that currently require more. Now, the flip side of that, though, is that productivity boosts are usually accompanied by significant economic growth, which means more activity. So that would be sort of my sort of top line prediction, if you will.
Thank you so much, Stavros. Indeed, actually, the future of work, I mean, as you said, also the discussion around the future of work is evolving rapidly. The European Commission itself invests a lot of capital also in exploring this emerging area, has a dedicated unit, also working on forecasting, on future of skills demand, skills supply that will be required also in this continuous digital evolving labor market. But it would be also interesting to hear from you, Alex. I mean, working on a major, very big corporation, how do you see actually future of work evolving in the 5 years from now, for example?
This is a very good question. I was trying to understand who is sitting in the audience, because we have different expectations, right? What will be the outcome? If you asked me this question a year and a half or 2 years ago, definitely my answer would be today completely different. Okay, nowadays, and I have to say AI or GenAI is not something new, even though that's why we feel a little bit afraid of approaching it. This is what I see also on the market, which could, on one side, bring also a disbalance in modern workforce and companies that are planning to, or having plans to adopt AI technologies. Now, it's nice to say, it will be good to say, now tomorrow, we get an AI here, okay, so we can work from anywhere, okay. This will be R2D2, I'm very often saying R2D2, why? because I don't want to say late 70s, okay, early 80s, when I saw first time Star Wars at home on black and white TV. So how many of you remember black and white TV having at home? Okay, thank you, okay, for your support. Okay, and then I said, wow, I need this one to offload me for non-important tasks and activities. So I can be more productive, okay, by doing homework at home and focus on what's important to me. So what was back then important to me? Playing football. Okay. Now, we see advancement in AI over the last many years. Sotiris, you studied AI late 80s. Okay. So who knows about...
Don't say that.
No, sorry.
You reveal my age.
No. You were Wunder King and you studied this early. But what I want to say, definitely in the next 5 years, much earlier than we were expecting 2 years ago, we will see that how AI is advancing our day-to-day life, our professional life, and our private life as well. So that we will be able to be more productive, okay, in accomplishing our daily tasks. So we will see upon adoption of companies in a proper way. I'm saying proper way because there are specific requirements that needs to be put in place in order to see all that. That companies' business operation will be completely different, and well-being on people should be also a different level. So this should be the final outcome that we should expect. Now, how we see this from company to company, from industry to industry, definitely through the advancement on these technologies, because we talk about technologies, okay? About some standards that will come. We see standards will be the new norm, as we are expecting, will be the better communication, closer communication between human and artificial intelligence. I would not say norm. I would still keep using the tool that will advance our well-being in every aspect, without going into specific details, because I think it's too early to speak about some detailed stuff and how this can be implemented in a proper way. Okay.
Very interesting, Alex. So we see actually how AI leads to business transformation, adaptability, new type of skills and competencies, of course, as you said, that perhaps will require between machines and humans. I mean, why not also between machines? Because in a certain way, maybe in the future, we can have actually in a workplace 2 machines work together. So what type of skills also, for example, no, they also need to adapt.
On some repetitive tasks,
for
definitely,
example.
yes.
Exactly, and we'll actually go to this question also later on with both Sotiris and Alex. But I would like now to ask you, Sotiris, given that you have a very long experience in emerging technologies, I still remember you also in decentralized and how interesting actually insights you shared on blockchain technology. And I would like to hear also your perspective. I mean, we heard from Stavros and Alex about the benefits, opportunities of generative AI and what this technology can bring in the context of future of work. But I would like also to hear from you, how do you think that organizations can adapt, and what are the potential challenges and risks even that we can see in the context of future of work? So I would like to hear from you, given also your experience in this field.
Thanks very much. And, like the hashtag future of work, because I'm a vivid Twitter user, and it has been like active since 2016, approximately 17. And it was talking about the future of work with the technology, and AI was not already in the game back then. Generative AI is, is such a fresh term, and of course it all happened after OpenAI opened that, some say Pandora's box, but these opportunities. But the thing is that inside the organizations, like either companies, enterprises, public sector, or other organizations, it's very difficult yet to understand, for leaders to understand what generative AI, or AI in general, could actually give them as a value prop. And there are some examples, but at the point, those organizations are still searching for, like the best model to work with the technology. There are some organizations that have started from, like bottom up, where users started using themselves as early adopters, like generative AI tools. And there are other organizations that the leaders, with the help of experts from the market, are trying to understand how they can proliferate AI in their organizations. The actual problem there is that we haven't decided yet if we have to invest and what it costs. As with other technologies, for example, with blockchain never, let's say, proved itself as an enterprise tool. We have certain use cases, but you remember 2019, we were talking with great expectations, but we never saw these
concrete examples of like...
well, it's not the same with AI right now, because AI, at this point we are now, is like the original internet transformation 95. So I believe that it's going to be a huge hockey stick upgrade of what's happening. And the two things in enterprises are, first of all, how AI can improve the performance of people, so the productivity, the efficiency, I would say. Mm-hmm. And the second one is the security and the safety of the information that is kept inside those organizations. So a lot of leaders do not know exactly how to enforce, let's say, the security principles that they already have in their enterprises, their companies, with AI. They're afraid of AI because it's yet in a very early stage.
Very good point,
those are the challenges right now,
yes,
from the leaders and from the workers.
And I'm actually, I like to comment actually what you just said, that the lack of know-how and the fact that we, like, let's say it's difficult to understand also AI, and this provokes some fears, like to people.
Because
so
it's a very broad topic.
Term, and it has also many applications. Also, as you said, it's the privacy and security aspects that make it even more challenging to understand that after all. But I guess, so this is also a message to policymakers, to regulators, to put like the right frameworks in place to ensure the safety and robustness of AI systems. So thank you for that, Sotiris. And now I would like to go back to you, Stavros. As CEO of WISE, I mean, I know that you spend a lot of years like working on lifelong learning, on let's say the skills and education aspects also of the workforce. And I'm sure that you can actually inform us and the audience about the right skills and competencies that people should have, like equip actually, to adapt in what we call future of work, and how, I mean, perhaps you can also illustrate some of the tools or existing initiatives that exist to reinforce and not only, let's say, reskill, but also upskill and reskill at the same time people.
Yeah. So if you had asked this question 2 years ago at an education conference, I'm safe in saying that the consensus would have been, that creativity, having, people develop their creative skills, learning how to learn, that these were the last, if you will, frontiers, that humans would dominate, and that machines would never, approximate us in that domain. I'm not so sure anymore now, since GenAI that creativity is such a uniquely human trait, or even learning how to learn is a uniquely human trait that machines can't do better. So as I sort of grapple with this question, through my work, I looked for inspiration, from a domain where artificial intelligence has been outperforming human beings for at least a quarter century. And that's gaming, and specifically chess. So I'm a very bad chess player, so, you know, just to put that out there. But I am aware that in 1997, you know, it was a seminal moment in the evolution of the game. That's when Deep Blue beat Kasparov, right? For the first time, and then, you know, beyond that, consistently, the supercomputers were beating the grandmasters. What I didn't know, and I learned that recently, was that, and I forget exactly when this happened, but at a certain point in time, they launched what's called freestyle chess. This competition that basically allowed players from anywhere in the world to compete using any and all available tools at their disposal. So they could use computers, they could use machines. And so, you know, grandmasters entered, everybody. Now, the first winner of this freestyle chess tournament was not a grandmaster. It was some person somewhere in the Midwest of the United States, complete amateur, and he won. And he won because, not because he had necessarily better technology. I mean, he had technology that was available pretty much to everybody. But he developed a process for making optimal use of that technology to play the game of chess, and he beat the grandmasters. And Kasparov, reflecting on this experience, developed his, you know, a kind of a theorem that's become associated with his name that basically goes something like this: expert human plus technology plus inferior process will lose to an amateur human plus technology plus superior process. So what can we learn from this? Well, the key is in the process, right? So how do we develop superior processes that allow us as human beings to interact optimally with machines, with technology? And what are the underlying skills that will enable us to do that? So part of it at the sort of higher level of skills, if you will, is the ability to integrate, the ability to pull different pieces together and make sense of, you know, information, of expertise from different domains. So, you know, learning how to be an effective integrator of tools of information. Now, if we unpack that further, right, what are the skills that can, you know, that can get you there? Well, we need to be better generalists at the end of the day. The success model, you know, for most human beings, professionals, over the past several years has been specialize, right? Mm-hmm. Develop expertise. I think that paradigm is going to turn on its head. Right. And it's actually the generalists who are going to come out, you know, on top, if that's the right expression.
So I would say, like, in general, like, working for, like, AI-related occupations, let's say, it's like a requirement to have some hard skills, like some technical skills. But do I understand well also what you're saying, that the combination of both, like, technical, soft